Hello, I'm doing another what if. I'm playing a game in the background, so tell me what you think. Dang. Okay, today I'm doing a what if deku, which is kind of different for me, but I'm gonna do it anyways. So I'm doing a what if deku with Superman, and let's see. I'm gonna say he was born, on Krypton, and he was brought down to space, and some people in an orphanage found him. And when they found him, they took him in, and he had a pretty bad life because all the other orphanage kids, they'd bully him, and he was pretty miserable, so he had a bad life at the beginning. And I'm gonna say when he was probably 8, Inko, she couldn't have kids, so she adopted him because she felt bad for him, her being nice and stuff. She also saw how miserable he looked, and she adopted him. And hold on. Okay, well, yeah. So she's gonna adopt him, and he won't talk to her for the first 2 years that he's there. And that's just because he's kind of miserable, and he doesn't like talking that much because he was just bullied a lot, and he didn't like talking to people that much. So he didn't talk to Inko for the first 2 years. And after the first, she homeschooled him too because she didn't want him to send him to an actual school. So she homeschooled him, and he barely talked. After 2 years, he said the first thing he ever said to her. And it was kind of heartwarming for her because that was the first time she heard him talk. So, and she hasn't gotten his trick, she hasn't tried to get his quirk tested yet, and she doesn't know what his quirk is, but he's gonna, be able to do whatever Superman can, duh. Because, what if Deku was Superman? And tell me what you think about me doing Deku what ifs, because I don't know about it. So he finally started opening up and talking. So she sent him to school, and at this point he's probably in 3rd grade maybe. So, and he meets Bakugo, and Bakugo, he's I'm the best kind of mentality, and Deku gets annoyed. So, as soon as Bakugo tries to bully him, he's nope. So he kind of just flies away. And the next day, Bakugo, he walked up to him and was like, "A flip was that?" And he's I don't know, I was born like that. He's like, "Oh, so that's your quirk?" He's like, "I don't know." And he's like, "Well, that's pretty useless." And this makes Deku mad. So his eyes start glowing red because he's getting ready to, shoot lasers out of his eyes. Heat vision. And he ends up like his eyes start going red, and Baku gets scared, and he starts backing up. So yeah, he doesn't bully him, but he still doesn't like him, and Deku clearly does not like Bakugo. So yeah, and I'm gonna skip to where around the anime starts. That's pretty cool. Okay. Well, this is around when the anime starts. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted with the game. So, I'm gonna time skip to about where the anime starts. And Deku's still quiet around other people. And he wears a hood. Like, he wears all black and he wears a hood. And the teachers allow it because they know how, like, he is. And he wears, like, this kind of mask. So, yeah, and they allow it. Nobody can really see his face, so he's walking home, not flying, because, I don't know, he just wants to stretch his legs, and, he goes to the tunnel, and the slime villain tries to, attack him, and, he just uses, heat vision, and, like, completely, like, evaporates it. So this legend villain is dead. And All Might gets there, he's like, I am here. And Deku's like, okay. And All Might's like, hey kid, did you see a sludge villain? He's like, oh, yeah. And All Might's like, well, what happened to it? He's like, yeah, it's gone now. He's like, okay. Did you do something to it or something? He's like, I don't know. So, and he's not as big of a fan of All Might as he used to be, because, the only thing he really genuinely cares about is his mom. And, wait, hold up. Okay, well, All Might's like, well, what happened to it? And he's like, I might have evaporated. He's like, what's your quirk? He's like, I don't really know. He's like, what do you mean you don't know? And he's like, well, I never got it tested. He's like, oh. And he's like, yeah, but it can do a lot of things. He's like, well, like what? He's like, well, I can shoot lasers out of my eyes, and I can fly. He's like, that's pretty cool. And, he got super strength. So, almost looking at this kid, he's like, he looks pretty buff. This kid might, make a good successor. So, he's just like sitting there. Okay. He's sitting there. Hold up. Okay. Well, All Might's like, this kid might make a good successor. And, Deku's just kind of looking at him like, and he asks him for his autograph. He's like, oh, I already gave it to you. He's like, really? So he looked down at his notebook and he's like, what? And All Might's like, yeah. He's like, man, you work fast. So that happened. And, let's see. And I'm gonna say, All Might's like, what's your name, kid? He's like, Zuku Midoriya. He's like, young Midoriya. Okay. And he's like, well, bye. And he's like, alright, see ya. So they leave. Hold up. Okay, so after All Might left, like, Deku goes home, and yeah. So he ends up like just like having a normal night, like, and he wakes up in the morning and he goes to school, and they're doing like those papers. The teacher walks in with the papers. He's like, alright, fill these papers in to see what school you want to go to. He's looking through them after they all fill them in. He's like, okay, so 2 people in this class want to go to UA. And Bakugo's like, 2? He's like, yes, 2. Bakugo and Midoriya. He's like, that nerd? So, Deku stands up. He's like, what'd you say? And Bakugo got up and he was like, I said nerd. He was like, oh, really? And Bakugo was like, yeah, really. So, they're kind of like just fighting. I don't know why I keep like doing that. It's probably getting annoying at this point, but so they're going to UA, and it's the entrance exams, and they do that. They start, they do everything, and I'm gonna say Deku got like 100% on all those tests and stuff. So he goes and they're at like the entrance exams, and they do all that, and it's the robot thing right now. So they open the gates, like, and Deku doesn't trip. So that happened. And so they were explaining it all, and then they opened the gates. So they ended up going through the gates, and I'm gonna say fucking Deku, he was just like, I'm out. And he flew, and he was looking for all the robots, and he found them, like a huge like group of like 2 and 3 pointers. So he went down there and he was destroying them with his laser eyes. And he ended up scoring more points than All Might. And once the 0 pointer comes, he's just like, there's no point in fighting it, so he's flying away from it. And then he heard Uraraka scream. So he flew down there as fast as he could. And he punched the robot, which completely destroyed the legs, because he was on the ground at this point. So it destroyed the legs because of how fucking strong this man is. And while it was falling, he lasered it, so that it was like gone. And he lifted, the rubble off of her, and, like bride style carries her. And he sets her down. He's like, you okay? And she's like, yeah. So he goes off to destroy more robots. And he has the most points in history of the entries exams. And I'm gonna go, everybody passed it's supposed to. But because Deku got so many points, I'm gonna cut Mineta, just because I think he's kind of annoying. Little pervy ball dude. So that guy, he's gone. And I'm gonna get rid of the invisible girl. So, yeah. And then I'm gonna put in Shinso. And, yeah, I'm gonna put in Shinso. So, and they're about to do hero versus villain. So, I'm gonna time skip to the hero versus villain. And it's the same setup as last time. Bakugo and Ida versus Deku and Uraraka. So they do that, and Deku, he kind of like, he goes to the top. Like, he tells Uraraka to hang on, and he flies to the top. And they go in through the top, and they're looking around, and Bakugo is like running around at the bottom. Because he's, you know, kind of stupid. And so he didn't, like, think about Deku flying up. So they're up on the very top floor looking around. They find the bomb. But there's only that one door. So they go around to, like, another part of it. And Deku uses his eyes because Ida's, you know, reciting the, the villain lines. So Deku, he cuts a hole in it. And he goes in there, and Ida doesn't notice because that was pretty silent. And Uraraka, I'm gonna say that they pulled it outwards, and Uraraka kind of, like, just made it, like, really light so it would float up. So they go in there, and they're, like, kind of sneaking behind the bomb. And they both touch it, and it's just like, heroes win. Okay, so after the heroes won, Bakugo's like, what? So he goes up there, and he sees how Ida's just kind of, like, looking around, like, where? So they walk around the bomb, and they see them just touching the bomb. And they're mad. So after that, they leave. And after that, you know, right after, he's like, hey, Uraraka. Or Uraraka. And she's like, yeah. And he's like, you want to go get some dinner? You know, making some moves, you know? And he asks her out, basically. And she says yes. So they go on a date. And it goes really well. So that happened, you know. My boy putting some moves on. And so I'm gonna say they're dating now. And I'm gonna leave this off right before the USJ. So yeah. Please like and subscribe. For part 2, give me 5 likes. Hope you enjoyed. And I'm out. Peace.